Hello, everybody. Come on in the room. Welcome, 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 welcome. Before we get started in our webinar today, please type into the chat where you are calling in from and what MFLC region you belong to. For those of you who are just now joining us, please type into the chat where you're calling in from. What region are you from? All right, we've got Milton, Florida, Connecticut, Valdosta, Eglin, Alexandria, Germany, a few people from Germany, Pensacola, all right, Italy, Fort Moore. Let's see who all else is on the call. We've got South Carolina, Bavaria, Herbert Field, Tyndall Air Force Base, Pensacola, Florida, Virginia, Wisconsin, Camp Lejeune, Maryland, North Carolina. It is so wonderful to know that we have MFLCs from all around the world. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to close the chat feature for now. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to our MFLC Monthly Webinar Series, a webinar hosted by the MFLC training team. It's nice to meet you. I am Kathy Hadley-Wilson, your MFLC training specialist, and today I will be your host today for the webinar. I'd like to introduce you to our beloved subject matter expert for the hour. This month, we have Christelle Linton. Christelle is a regional supervisor and a former MFLC with 10 years experience. Christelle is the regional supervisor for West Point, New York, and one of the regional supervisors for Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And today we have our very own training director, Krista Gardner, who will also be presenting. She too is an MFLC with many years of experience as well as a regional supervisor. This slide shows our agenda for this 1-hour webinar. We will talk about holiday opportunities, MFLC success stories, special events, resources, and care for. We aim to have a small amount of time at the end of our webinar for live questions and answers using the Q&A feature. Remember, webinars are different from regular Zoom meetings. You will not be able to share your camera or unmute yourself, but you will be able to enter questions at the end of the webinar today. Please remember that your own regional supervisor is the best source of information when it comes to specific questions related to your unique assignment. Please, everyone, welcome Christelle.
Thank you, Kathy, and good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are located. I'm happy to be here with you today to talk about holiday cheer and opportunities to be creative at your assignment. When I began my first assignment over 10 years ago, I was a bit overwhelmed, and there was so much to see and process and remember. Over time, I started to realize that while each installation was unique, they also had similarities that helped me to have a frame of reference each time I started a new assignment. Well, over the years, I have been a CYB MFLC, a school MFLC, and an embedded MFLC. And what I learned was that by understanding the uniqueness of each location, I could be better able to support with creativeness and finding opportunities to meet their specific needs. And it helped me to be more efficient in making those connections and understanding the trends at my site. I would love to hear from each of you in the chat the unique ways that your installation is celebrating the holidays, hosting events, and highlighting our military families. While you are typing and sharing, Here you will see a few ideas and opportunities that arise this time of year. There are many opportunities for the MFLAX to support, such as festivals and events, community and installation-wide, single military member events where the MFLAX can connect with chaplains, event leaders, and assisting when appropriate, parent-teacher outreach, PTA meetings or special events at the school and the centers, and installation events, outreaching and building rapport and supporting with an MFLAC table, and the family readiness group events such as outreach, consulting, holiday lunches, picnics, parties, and family events.
All right, Christelle, we're seeing some Veterans Appreciation ceremonies coming up on Veterans Day, some turkey trots, Thanksgiving. It looks like even holiday parties. Someone's having a tree lighting, Thanksgiving dinner, a taste of Tuscany, even at their installation. That sounds amazing. 5Ks, great opportunities. I was
Wonderful.
asked to provide the holiday stress tips to Hearts Apart in my EFMP group. Holiday cards for veterans, gratitude activities. So a lot of what you just talked about, it seems like that's what everybody's looking at. A USO collaboration with a free turkey giveaway. Wow, this is amazing. School performances, apple picking, parades. Amazing. Wow, Christelle, look, these are just exactly kind of the things that we're looking for.
Wonderful ideas and areas to support. This time of year can look a little bit different, and we want you to feel successful, even though your environment may look a little bit different than usual. Maybe you have less students in your school, or after-school programs are on hold. Maybe the installation is feeling a little bit empty with holidays, danzas, and block leave. And it's a wonderful time of year as an MFLAC because you're offered so much flexibility in being creative with your interventions. Remember, holidays are a great time to build trust and rapport with your command, enhance trust and rapport with administration and teachers, show different ways to meet specific needs at your location, be creative. MFLACs are flexible and supportive. Provide support during transition and those changes. Let's look at different ways we can see these opportunities in action. I want to share a few of the success stories from MFLACs I have seen during the holiday season. The MFLAC set a box of holiday decorations next to her office door. And as cadets walked by the MFLAC office, they grabbed decorations. Some cadets were missing home, some missing out on holiday traditions and events. And the cadets had fun telling stories and decorating a space while away from home during the holidays. The school hosted a holiday lunch for parents to provide information, resources, and supports to the parents during the holidays. Here you can see an MFLAC set up a resource table, gave a program briefing, and obtained consent forms from several families. And then our last one here, a high school student walked up while the MFLAC was creating the winter bulletin board, which provided an opportunity for the student to process her thoughts and feelings about an upcoming PCS during the next week in the holidays. The student began writing motivating and encouraging words on the snowflakes. So as you can see, there are many ways to be creative at your assignment during the holidays in outreach, consulting, or counseling opportunities. I want to speak to another opportunity to support military life and homesickness. An active duty soldier was referred to the MFLAC due to feeling homesick and isolated. And as he's originally from another country, the service member identified that he felt stranded away from his culture and all aspects of home. The MFLAC worked with the service member to identify what would help him feel connected. The service member identified that the food of his home country was a major part of his culture. The MFLAC and the service member worked to create a list of restaurants and ethnic groceries in the area that are from the service member's home country. The service member returned to the next visit significantly uplifted. For some, the holidays are full of cheer, but for others, it can bring a time of worry, grief, or disconnectedness. Another way we can see holiday stress is working with service members and families who are far away from their home, country, or family. And one example of a way to help connect these participants with what they are missing might be to help them identify what aspects of home they are missing during the holiday season and create a new ritual or tradition to reconnect and lift their spirits. Just taking time to connect with our military service members and families this season and being creative and finding simple ways that they can make new connections or traditions can change the entire holiday season for that person or family. Taking the time to connect can be the one intervention that leads to the next intervention. Here we see a service member recovering from an injury decided not to take block leave. The service member reported he was worried about being lonely during the holidays, especially while all of his peers were on block leave. The MFLC shared the number of the SFRG leader with the service member. The MFLC mentioned that the SFRG group was looking for volunteers to help arrange the holiday festival for the brigade. And at the next visit, with the MFLC, he reported that he had begun volunteering to build the fall spooky scene for the holiday party and was given a certificate of appreciation for his support with the brigade. He reported he felt connected and then would be eating Thanksgiving dinner with his new French group. Holidays are a great time to connect with families that may not be taking block leave or are remaining at the installation. There are many services that provide Thanksgiving meals and events to connect single soldiers as well as families. The USO, Opportunities for Single Soldiers, and other programs often offer events to connect, support, and uplift those that are celebrating at a distance. Many of our schools, PTO associations promote family lunches, school programs, and concerts to celebrate with their children and connect our families. And organizations such as the USO have provided financial assistance for service members to travel home for the holidays. Each installation is a little bit different. However, there are opportunities within each brigade or division-wide to celebrate. Please look into your community resources, USO, MWR, ACS, Family Advocacy, Opportunities for Single Soldiers, SFRG, PTO, Military One Source, Fleet and Family, Airmen in Readiness, just to name a few. Here we have a couple of holiday events opportunities that MFLC have supported. On December 6th, Marrington Elementary School hosted a Toys for Tots event to bring the community together and celebrate the season. And as family donated toys, they were able to visit trunks decorated for the holidays and enjoy winter festivities. MFLC's April Ward and Mary Burgeon took part in the event by decorating trunks with holiday lights and garland and by providing outreach and support at an MFLC informational table. Families enjoyed hot chocolate while they visited the trunks, and the MFLC handed out holiday coloring cards, crayons, stickers, and information for the parents. It was a successful night with more than 224 toys collected for the Toys for Tot program. And on December 12th, the MFLC collaborated with the Wounded Warrior Battalion East to host a cookie baking and decorating event. The event was attended by 18 Marines and one military family with 3 children. The participants were encouraged to use their creativity while decorating the cookies during the event. Both positive emotion and social interaction seemed to increase. The participants enjoyed decorating the cookies, and the event was a fun and unique way to increase awareness of the MFLC program. And as you can see, there are so many ways for you, the MFLC, to support already coordinated events in your location. And we hope these examples are inspiring you to be creative with collaborating and supporting your unique community. School lunch bunch groups during the holidays are a great place to be creative. An MFLC can connect with a school librarian and may use their school library to highlight traditions around the world and display them on the library shelves. The MFLC could check out a themed book from the library for their group or use coloring pages. The MFLC could check out the Social Emotional CYB book list focused on your age group and skills to support your group. and these are located in the MagellanMFLC.org site. The school could use morning announcements to highlight military kids and special events that kids can take part in. Also, lunch bunch groups can be a great place to share about different holiday traditions from around the world. The children can share about their holiday experiences or traditions they have in their family, or from different experiences from around the world, such as food, decorating, and culture. In addition to group activities such as posters, bulletin boards, letters are great connecting intervention, as well as supporting those with deployed parents and those living overseas away from their extended family or friends. Other ideas could include making cards for single soldiers, volunteering in the community, discussing holiday traditions, holiday charades, and here, spreading holiday cheer with notes of encouragement is a great project that can be made into a group activity and then shared with others such as students and teachers. At one school, the Lunch Bunch group made notes of encouragement on sticky notes that were placed on a pillar in the center of the school. Students or teachers could take a positive, encouraging note and share it by placing it on the locker of another student or door of a teacher as a way to share positive encouragement. Also, mindfulness, purposeful music selection, helpful kindness holiday bingo, holiday trivia, life-size board games, great ways to build groups activities. As we approach the holidays, we keep in mind that our days may not look like they normally do. However, MFLCs are flexible and available, bringing our thoughtfulness and creativity to each opportunity. Keeping a few things in mind as we navigate through the changing season. Ask questions to your supervisor. Ensure you have a good understanding of our MFLC scope. Keep good communication with your supervisor as you are the boots on the ground and may know about changes first. Check in with your POC often and touch base about backup POCs when they take time off during the holidays. And look for opportunities to attend meetings and events at your location and supporting within our MFLC scope. Be mindful of the holiday season, that each person approaches it with their own experiences. And as we are proactive and utilize our resources and supports, we are successful. I want to share a few reminders to help keep us successful. Your locations greatly appreciate your support, and they may want to include you as part of the staff or to celebrate you with gifts. Friendly reminder to maintain our professionalism and that anyone could be a potential client or customer. Avoid socializing and establishing personal relationships. Refrain from accepting or giving gratuities to or from military or civilian personnel. Avoid crossing or violating professional boundaries, such as giving or serving food, transporting others in your vehicle. And always remain objective. Don't allow political, religious, gender, or other bias to interfere with your counseling performance. We only use OSD-approved presentations and briefings, and please refrain from engaging in activities that appear to promote your own self-interest. And as I wrap up, I want to share a reminder of the videos and guides that can be a great support for enhancing your briefing and outreach skills. These are located on the MagellanMFLC.org site. You can also find a fantastic holiday stress slick as well. The Holiday Stress Slick is a great tool that discusses holidays during deployments, being away from home during the holidays, holiday financial stress, and the MFLC response with self-care and relaxation skills to build resilience. This is also a great time to have handy the numbers for your personal financial counselors at your location as well. I'll pass it back to Christy. Thank you.
Thanks, Christelle. Those were such great stories and ideas. I'm already so inspired. Hello, everybody. Christy Garner here, your MFLC Learning and Development Director. Let's talk holiday support. Now, I'm going to open the Q&A in a little bit for you to ask all your questions. So be noting those questions as we go through the resource section, and be prepared to take some photos of the slides. We have a lot of great resources, and I'll also send out a PDF of the resources as a follow-up in case you don't have the ability to take photos or write things down. Don't worry, no problem. All right. Christelle mentioned our holiday stress handout, which highlights great resources to use this time of year. Another great topic is gratitude. During this time of year, this slick focuses on gratitude-inspired conversations and learning how to integrate gratitude with CBT to support our participants mentally with evidence-based interventions during consults, counseling, and even outreach. To get this clinical resource, an internal resource to support MFLX creating interventions and mindful approaches of all kinds during the holiday season, you can find it on the website. Our social emotional learning toolkit for CYBs has a way to use these same concepts with children. These resources are located in clinical resource toolkits under documents and forms at the Magellan MFLX website, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. And of course, our favorite resource, Military OneSource, has information on how to keep stress low during the season. You can download the MOS handout and use that with your POCs, service members, families. The QR code here on the slide will take you directly to this location, or you can find in red how we got there. And remember, you can also use the Military Provider app to share resources located on Military OneSource. The Mil Provider app should be already available on your MFLX phone. The red background with the little white logo. But if it's not there, there is a step-by-step guide located on the MagellanMFLX.org website under Business Materials and Forms on the webpage. You can see that address in the bottom. The Mil Provider app allows you to access all the Military OneSource materials and information and share it directly with participants without having to print or bring along those materials. So this time of year, it's a great resource for you. Check it out. We need to go back one. Events are a great way for MFLX to create visibility. Now, we spoke on this topic last month, but I'm going to remind you of a few top points this month. It is always important to keep in mind that we are guests at the locations. If you keep that in mind, you'll have way less obstacles. Think about yourself as a guest in a house, right? You would ask lots of questions before just making a move or doing something or getting into the refrigerator. So you want to think about it like this. And it's important to identify the uniqueness of each site and then proceed accordingly. If events are already planned, inquire to how you can support. There might be an opportunity to just do outreach or maybe even have a table or booth. You know your site best and you can gauge the needs of your site best. Maybe if your POC is looking for suggestions, have some to offer and offer to coordinate. Talk with your supervisor and your PFC to obtain approval for those suggestions, but that's a great way to show what kind of services that MFLX can support. And as MFLX, we do have some limitations. Christelle mentioned a few of those earlier, but remember, we're not allowed to provide food, candy, take pictures with children or participants, or supervise children or youth. Now, for one-on-one counseling sessions, MFLX do not provide support to civilians, but when it comes to presentations or supporting events, we absolutely can include others. So, side note, for my installations with restrictions around children speaking to mental health professionals, please check with your regional supervisors on those specifics. But in general, if a non-military connected youth is in a group setting with other military connected youth, let's say at lunch, or in recess, the CYB MFLX can support the group as a whole to include both military connected youth and non-military connected youth. And the same goes for adults in group settings. You can use your outreach and consulting in a mixed group. I will give you some specific examples next, okay? Once you've collaborated and organized a special occasion at your location, it's important to accurately capture your time facilitating that event and care for. Giving yourself optimal credit, all right? We want to support you all to get optimal credit for the time that you've put in for all these amazing things that you're up to. Let's look at when to utilize different support types such as outreach, consultation, and counseling, as well as administrative and supplemental activities. When we support specialized functions, we're often creating outreach opportunities to build relationships and promote MFLC services. Let's discuss how to transition from capturing your time in Care for from outreach to a consultation encounter. All right, now this is an illustration of Care for. When preparing for special events, we do have the option of allocating some time under admin and supplemental activities, right? For admin time, it's evident. We can put time spent for planning, coordinating, researching, and preparing. There's even specific sections where it is activity or event organization and prep, or another option is planning and coordinating. However, we know that you all have a target goal of 2 hours a day allotted for admin time. So it's really beneficial for us to identify other ways to capture time when it's appropriate. So, for example, let's consider creative ways to get poster decorating. If during the holiday season, you're not running a regular lunch bunch, or there's more time where students are not in their classrooms, bring out some posters. Ask them if they want to help you to decorate. You can even ask teachers if you can come to their classrooms, right? You have a downtime or a study time and you don't have anything to do. I have these posters that we're decorating or these cards for single service members. Can I come into your classroom? Classroom presentations about holiday stress, grief, loss, or even coping skills would be great to use. Find creative ways to bring your admin and prep to the students to engage them in hanging posters or talking about the holidays. You can educate non-military students about deployments or have students talk about missing their family and friends. Facilitating groups of students can be consulting time if you're talking about specific issues that students are facing in a general way to facilitate awareness and facilitate positive social interactions, right? One of the main things that CYBs do is to build those connections. Now, lunchtime is a great time to build on consulting and outreach time. This goes for adults as well. How can you do activities and invite participants to join you? Or maybe you want to work quietly in the library with those that want more quiet time. For adults, you can engage them in activities and lunch at the DFAC or cafeteria. Maybe you're making ornaments for the angel tree, or trying to find a way to create something special for the unit. You can engage others in those activities. And remember, a tip for you all, coloring is a form of meditation. So building mindfulness skills or coping skills can be inherent in many types of crafts that we create for the holidays and beyond. I hope this is helpful for everyone. Learning how to translate time and care for is so important. And we know the great work that MFLCs are doing out there, especially during this time of year. We want to help you find creative ways to showcase all of your amazing skills that you bring to our amazing team. All right, now back to resources. We know financial support during the holidays is a need. You can find the tools that can help you preload your referral list and get to know your local resources, right? On the right side of the screen, you can see an article from Military OneSource. Military OneSource has tons of information that will help your families this holiday season. Remember, all Military OneSource handouts, games, webinars, podcasts, and articles are DoD approved. So you can share these resources with POCs, stakeholders, and your participants. In the middle center, you can find your local personal financial counselor. Christelle mentioned this as well. On the slide, there's a link to the website as well as a QR code. If you scan that code right now, it will bring you to the webpage to see the financial readiness map. And then you can enter in your location and it will show you contact information for the PFC local to your installation. I also wrote down where you can find that on the web if you want to take a picture if the QR code isn't working. And available on our mflc.org website, we have our financial concerns toolkit here in the bottom left. This has handouts with tips and resources for how to talk to military families about their financial concerns. And then we have a more in-depth course in our MFLC training program portal under professional development The course is Pro 105, and it's called MFLC Response to Financial Stress. Now, that has a lot more tools and resources. So between all of this information on this slide, feel free to take a photo. You should have a lot of great information, like Christelle said, to be proactive and prepared to support families this holiday season. Another hot topic that we're hearing from the field these days is deployment. In our MFLC training portal, remember we call it the Moodle. You can get to it from the front page of the MagellanMFLC.org website. There is a course called Pro 103 under our professional development courses, Understanding the Deployment Cycle. This course has a CEU component, I believe. So if you're looking for some CEUs, it's a great one. It's located in the MFLC training program portal. It has resources, referrals, and tons of deployment-specific interventions for your families this holiday season. There's deployment activities for children. There's handouts from the presentation library that can be shared with children and groups and parents and families. Stuff that you can do in your counseling sessions even, or just consulting. And of course, Military OneSource has tons of ways to support relationships for families during the holiday season in regards to deployments. A few examples are listed here, and the QR code can be scanned, or you can find the information at the bottom right of the slide on how to search Military OneSource for these handouts. All right. OCONUS. We know our families overseas have very specific needs and also some amazing experiences that are available to them during the holiday season. First and foremost, check out Pro 107, our course in the MFLC training portal on resources and referrals. There's stuff in there for food insecurity, childcare options, spouse programs, and financial support available to the military community. All things that we know our OCONUS folks need. You can download the Military OneSource article on celebrating overseas duty at overseas duty stations and talk to families at your installations about their plans. We know that MWR has tons of trips this time of year, which may help those squeezed for money or isolated from friends to build some relationships. So these are all great options for our OCONUS families. All right, everybody. I know there's a lot of resources, so stick with me here. We're going to give you some time in the Q&A today. But next, maybe you're thinking about staying healthy during the holidays. I'm sure I'm thinking about this, and if I am, I know some military families are as well, okay? This QR code will take you directly to Military OneSource for information which highlights health and wellness coaching, MWR, and more. Some ideas for healthy holidays. Scout out your local installation nutritionist. See if you can collaborate at holiday events with them. Go to the local gym and see what kind of activities they're offering and have during the holiday season. Bring those flyers back to your office or the unit so you can see how to refer folks to all these activities. Talk with the family readiness group about holiday season offerings they have to support families. There's so much opportunity, and a small step from you can mean a big change for any one of the participants in your footprint. All right. Now, we also know that this season has been hard for many military families, experiencing natural disasters and events beyond their control. The higher rates of deployments and changing world atmosphere around politics and war can be very distressing for very many military families this time of year. Remember our presentations from the presentation library. One of them in particular I'm going to highlight today, Resilience During Uncertainty. It has a lot of great information and also a slide here on emotional and mental health tips. So you could use this slide in lots of different ways, right? Think about all the different places you could use this. In a classroom, during your command calls. You could do it at a lunchtime talk. You can use this during outreach when going from location to location inside of your unit. Talk with them about these different resiliency action steps they can take. take the handouts from our resiliency presentation, download them, hang them up for service members to see in the break room. Now, MFLX change lives every day by making mental and emotional health more accessible. The holidays are when people might need this information from you the most. Okay. I know y'all have seen this. Of course, these are our psychoeducational presentation topics, and you can access this on the website as listed here, or you can scan the QR code on the slide. When you're talking with your POCs, you can offer some topics from this list, all right? And presentations and events are a great way for MFLX to create visibility and demonstrate how we can support mission and family readiness. Now, even though this new library doesn't have a presentation focused on the holidays like our old library did, I want you all, I'm inviting you to take time to look at some of these resiliency building presentations, or the health and wellness presentations, or the child focused presentations, and use those materials and put your own holiday twist on them. Okay. There's so many activities and handouts and tons of great up-to-date evidence-based material in there. So I really urge you to practice, even though you might be looking for a holiday topic and there are none particularly in here, look for some different ways. The National Guard presentation does have a mindfulness handout. So even though you might not be working with National Guard, you can click on that presentation. There's a lot in there about deployments, since those families face deployments quite often. So check out some of the presentations in the downtime that you have or in your admin time, researching new and existing resources, just to see how could I use this? How can I present this to my POC, right? Okay. We hope to hear your success stories this year, and we hope that something today has inspired you to take action or be creative or prepare positively. Now, we do have a little extra time for Q&A today, and I'm going to open that up right now. And we're also going to show you how you can code today's webinar. All right, here we go. The Q&A is open, and your time today will be coded under cost point under your regular counselor labor code, because everything we talked about today is all about serving the community, right? Your MFLX job. Time W, this goes under your regular hours, and in Care 4, we put it under admin and SEP, other researching new and existing resources. We do this because this is where we put all training. Someone said, could I put it as meetings as an MFLX? Certainly you can, but we usually code all training under researching new and existing resources. Just makes it simpler like that. So that's your counselor labor code time. That's your Care 4 time. And we are here for the next 10 minutes or so to answer questions. So type into the Q&A if you came up with any questions today. All right, Christelle, while we're waiting for some questions, is there anything that we kind of went over today that you want to remind folks, or resources that your team likes to use, especially the presentations, that might be helpful?
I would look for opportunities to be creative, and then check with your supervisor or the other peers that have maybe been at your location before. So collaborate as a team and share ideas. There's a wealth of knowledge on your teams and great brainstorming opportunities.
Thanks, Christelle. All right, everybody, remember you have to push the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to submit questions. Maybe we have no questions today, which would be pretty cool. But we did talk a lot about Care 4 and how to take your time from admin or supplemental or outreach into consulting or further. So let us know if there's any questions there. I'm going to also ask Tammy, any kind of advice for us during the holidays that you have seen or you would like to share?
Well, I think you guys did such a great job and very thorough in covering everything. I did want to take a moment to remind all of our MFLX to make sure that you're taking care of yourselves too. carve out some time, get together with your colleagues and your teams, and make sure that you're sharing the resources, like Christelle had said, but also taking time to appreciate each other and the strengths that you all bring to your teams. Our holidays do offer us some opportunities for those team building activities. So just wanted to put that little plug in there.
That's awesome, Tammy. I love that. I think we're all looking forward to spending more time together during this holiday season. So thanks for mentioning that to the MFLX. Please do, y'all. We have a couple of questions and I'm going to try to answer them well. Okay. I'm on a very small installation and I was asked to help at Thanksgiving dinner. Is this against the rules? Christelle, what do you think? Is helping at Thanksgiving dinner against the rules?
We are not able, unfortunately, to serve food, but it might be a great opportunity to provide outreach and meeting with some of the cadets or military service members that are coming for the dinner. So engaging in thoughtful conversation and outreach is a great opportunity here.
I love that,
Christy, do you have
Christelle.
anything else to add?
Yeah, I tell a story about handing out like Dr. Peppers. You know, if you want to stand at the end of the line and hand out a napkin, you certainly can do that, y'all, to be a part of that. But like Christelle said, reach out, go to that, count that as time. That's amazing. What a great opportunity for you that you were asked to help. I'm so excited that they want to include you. So that's amazing. Another question now we have about Care For. Now, when we're in a group, let's say like I was talking about at lunch, and we're doing consultations with military students and not military students, how do we count those folks in our Care For? Great question, everybody. I love this. So, when you are talking in consultation with a group of folks, you have to put like who made this consultation possible. So maybe that would be your POC who lets you go there at the installation, right? Or maybe that would be a teacher because you're in their classroom and you're talking to a group of students. If you're engaging with all of them, then you're going to count that number. All right. That's how many people you interacted with. Tammy's shaking her head. She's my little Care For me right now. So I'm making sure I'm doing it right. Is that how you would explain it also, Tammy?
Yes, I will also point everybody to our MagellanMFLAC.org website. Under our Tech tab, we have detailed information on Care For and how to capture those consultations. And so I would encourage you to also review that and see what fits best. And then also remind everybody when we're doing outreach, there are those two different ways to break it down. And one of them is we're capturing the entire audience. And so we wouldn't necessarily need to know if you are a service member or if you're a civilian, if you're a military connected student. It wouldn't be relevant if we have a consent form for those children because it's not a counseling session. This is a larger group of outreach, and we don't necessarily know who is military connected and who isn't. And so you're just going to capture the entire audience when you're doing like the presentations and when you're doing that the briefings instead of those smaller interactions of counseling where we need to know what your military connected status is. So just wanted to point that difference out as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. In outreach, presentation and briefings, you count everyone in the audience. In outreach, walk around outreach, you just count people that you talk to, right? In consultation, similar. You're engaging with 5 people in the group. But OSC doesn't want to see that you did consultation with 500 people, right? They want to see the number of people that you're actually consulting with, that you're actually interacting with. That's when you're doing outreach, not presentation or briefings, or you're doing consulting, okay? So I'm going to show you for a second the wonderful tab that we have on the website for you all, as Tammy mentioned. Are we seeing the right screen? Yes. Okay. So if you go to the MagellanMFLAG.org website and you click on tech support, and then you can go down to Care for Activity Reporting. All right. And this page has tons of detailed information about each support type. And it answers a lot of those questions that you all frequently have, even here under our Care for FAQs. Cool, right? We have some special scenario questions. We have a bunch of questions about referrals and eligible requests. And then if you make an error, here's a great place to go get that information as well, or some information on your dashboard. Okay, so that is MagellanMFLAG.org. Look for us under tech support. And as I'm waiting to see if there's any more questions, I'm going to show you one more place under training and development. Okay, Christelle mentioned this, counselor professional development. Here under counselor professional development, you've got enhance your briefing skills. And we've got videos from multiple regional supervisors giving you the way they would do their briefings, okay? You've also got a whole presentation here on building your outreach skills. This is from Doug Fotia and Region 3. And then we've got our great supervisor, Shelley Moorfield here, talking about how to do outreach at school. So these are all great opportunities, okay? The other thing I'm just gonna click on is webinars and events. So we will record this webinar and then we will place it here along with all of our other webinars. So if you happen to miss one of our MFLAG monthly webinars, you can go right here to the MFLAG webinars, click here and find all of those that we've done so far. Okay, everybody? Mostly, we just want to tell you, thanks so much for coming today. Please take care of yourselves. Please have a great time supporting everybody. And we look forward to seeing you next month at our next webinar. Kathy, any last words for us today?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, if your questions were not answered live today, please reach out to your regional supervisor. Your regional supervisor is always your best source to get clarification and answer assignment-specific questions. Always remember that we're here for you. Contact MFLAG Training at MagellanHealth.com for questions you might have regarding today's webinar. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.